Hey guys, I'm Phoenix here. Welcome to Portal 2 Community Test Chambers sort of plug, but it isn't. It won't end up being technically a plug, so I don't really count this as a plug. Well, you'll see where this is going anyway. So, I didn't even realise this was being released today, which is kind of bad of me. I should have really known. I didn't really know until somebody mentioned it on the FacePunch forums that it was coming out today, and Sphinxer, in his usual wisdom, said, yeah, I'm going to mess around with that later. I bet he doesn't. So, Community Test Chambers. This will be downloaded next time you try and play Portal 2. I don't know why it's not auto-updating, at least it didn't auto-update for me. And these are the new... It's an in-game editor, so it's basically like the Valve sort of official hammer editor, but simplified. So it's designed to be a very easy way of making a Portal 2 map. There's a couple I've made. They're both available on the workshop, on the Steam Workshop thing that you can access through Portal and through Steam itself, the Lift and the Easy Life. Now I've been playing around with this for a couple of hours now and I do quite like it. You're starting to see where this is going, don't you? So, new test chamber. There's been a few concerns raised that this could possibly mean the end of hammer mapping. And in some ways, I kind of think that's a good thing. Considering that Hammer used to be called Worldcraft, which used to be some kind of offshoot of a Quake editor, it's a little old now. And because of that inherent oldness, well, any sort of things that they've had to try and integrate into the editor, it seems to have been quite difficult for them. It would be like teaching your 70-year-old granddad how to use an iPhone. It's, you know, on that same level. Now, I'm not saying that all old people can't actually learn how to use technological stuff, simply because my grandparents seem to be quite adept at working that sort of thing out, but that's the sort of level that we're talking about. It's a very old editor and it desperately needs an overhaul, and this is sort of in the right step. It's a very easy to use editor. So we've got a block here. If I want to change these blocks into non-portal ones, which are these sort of dark grey ones, you just select them. You can either left click and drag or just click them, and then you can hit P with them selected. If I want to add a button, I can add a button. If I want to add a cube dropper, let's say companion cube, there you go. So the last thing you need to do is connect things up. With that you can choose different cube types, dropper enabled, auto respawn cube, all that sort of thing. And here you can choose to connect to an object, and I'm just going to connect it to the door. So now when that loads, pick up the companion cube, stick it on the button, opens the door. It's really, really easy. And this is the sort of editor which I would quite like Valve to make. Partly because it works. I know people that haven't been able to use Source SDK because their computer hasn't, for some reason, wanted to work with it. I know my netbook absolutely hates it because it's got one of those integrated Intel things. I've got my autosave set to save my work every 2 minutes on Hammer Editor, and that's not saying I don't trust the engine. No, actually, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't trust that at all. It has a nasty habit of just crashing for no real reason, and that's why I've got 2-minute autosave. So Valve, if you're watching this video and looking at community stuff, I mean, this is more sort of a personal thing, but these issues have been raised by people on various forums. It crashes, the source SDK crashes. It's not that easy to use, especially compared to other engine editors out there, and it's very bolted on. You have to go into a completely different thing to get colour correction to do it, and even then colour correction isn't really that easy to import back into your map. So things like this, step in the right direction, and if the team that made this can make us a new hammer editor, and it be sort of like the old hammer editor but a lot easier to use, that would be absolutely awesome. So I'll leave you with my map so you can see it working and see how easy it is. So this is like the compile process in Hammer. So it's now doing its vrad, its vviz, and the other one, and vbsp, and then it will load it eventually. But even so, I mean, that's taken a minuscule amount of time, especially considering the map that it's going to produce. And here we go. So this is the entrance, the non-portal squares, the portal squares. Pick up cube, put on button, door opens, and it looks good. It doesn't maybe look as good as like what Lamar's been doing with the portal editor, but or even as good as like the Valve maps, because you don't have really that much text variation and light placement and there's all the sorts of crazy tricks that the expert mappers do. But it's a nice editor. So I'll leave you with that. In summary, really, Valve, give us a new editor, please. Something, you know, that's reasonably easy to use. Something that I can go from, say, in-game to in-editor. Be really nice. So, see you next video, which will actually be a, hopefully, if I can get it all sorted out and get it all cut in together, will be showing you what I've actually been doing these past God knows how long. So, see you then.